Hi, welcome. We're trying something new today because the go lives haven't been working out super well, or the YouTube lives haven't been working out. Technical error on my part. So I put together about a 45-minute class. I've been finding that the 45 minutes works a little bit better for a home practice than an hour. But if you really like the hour, let me know and we can make something work. So wherever you are, actually before we get started, go ahead and grab a blanket or a pillow. Again, I think that would really support the practice, but if you don't have one handy, don't worry about it either. I'll give you some options. So, wherever you are, let's find a comfortable seat. You might put the blanket folded up a bit and put it under your sit bones or sit on the pillow, something to elevate the hips a little bit. And if sitting isn't comfortable for you, then you can lay on your back, knees bent or extended, or even lay on your side. Once you've found your seat or your lay, let the bones be heavy. See if you can let the earth support you. A lot of times, especially when things are a little stressful, we tend to hold and try to support ourselves a lot. So see if you can let the earth support you. See if you can surrender a little bit more to the ground. You might even visualize your sit bones sinking into the earth a little bit, like they have little weights attached to them, or they're growing roots going into the earth. And once the bones feel nice and heavy, what if the muscles became a little bit more fluid, a little bit softer? Just letting the muscles melt around the bones like butter. Melting away the tension in the muscles around the bones, around the heavy bones. And then can the skin become a little less taut? There be a little more ease in the skin, all the way from the crown of the head to the tips of the toes. And maybe to help that, you visualize a golden or white, bright, warm light. Just bringing some ease to the very surface of the skin. And perhaps you draw your attention to the breath. And see for a couple breaths if you can notice it without changing the breath. It can be tempting to take a nice big sip in, but can we just watch it without changing it? Just a few more breaths. observing without judgment. And let's bring the arms out to the side, palms face down. We'll inhale to lift the palms, flip them up. Exhale, gather everything, hands come to heart center. And perhaps take a moment to dedicate the practice to whoever you feel could use some good energy. Maybe to those first responders on the front lines. Neighbor down the street. Family members, folks working in essential jobs. Anyone else? And then let's bow into the space. A moment of gratitude, thankful that we get to practice. All right. Let's come out of that and remove the blanket if you're sitting on one. And let's roll it up into a little roll. So I'm gonna roll mine, and you don't have to roll yours as long as I do. Let me show you how thick I roll mine. I roll it about this big, but that might be a lot. So if you're new to this, what we're gonna do is put it underneath our heart, right beneath the shoulder blades. And we do this to help open the chest, open the heart space. So go ahead and figure out what works best for you. You don't want to go too far, so if you've not done this before, then roll your blanket a little bit smaller. It seems like it wouldn't be that much, but it can be a lot of sensation. And then once you have your roll, you can put it underneath your heart, like I said, just beneath the shoulder blades. You might need to wiggle around a little bit, and that's okay. And if it feels like it's too much, then what you'll do is roll over to the side and come on up. And you'll just make your roll a little bit smaller. So that actually feels like a lot for me today. I'm gonna make my roll a little bit smaller just to be kind to my back. And then settle in. Arms can be out at the side. In cactus arms. Or even above your head. That might be a lot. So we'll be here for a little bit. You can always come out at any time. You don't want this to be uncomfortable. And let's bring the attention back to the breath. And see if you can breathe into the back of the heart space. Sending the breath there, noticing any sensation. Watching the chest rise and fall. And then perhaps you scan down from the top of the head. Notice if there are any spots that are holding. Check in with the shoulders and arms, hands. Chest that you could soften. Parts of the rib cage or the back body, can you release a little more? You could experiment too with taking your legs out long. And if you tried that, notice if that was a good choice. If your body wants your knees back up, then bring them back up. And check in with the hips. There are parts of the hips that can release a little more. And the upper leg, the lower leg, and the feet. And then come back to the sensation of the breath. And can we watch the sensations without assigning a story to them? For me, that's pretty hard. So as soon as I notice I'm telling a story to myself, I just try to let it go. I say, oh yeah, that's a story. Oh yeah, we're thinking. And I come back to the breath. All right. Let's bring the knees up if you don't have them there already. And go ahead, roll over onto your side. And pause there. Let the spine readjust. There's a lot of blanket up there, so give it a moment to reset. And then as you're ready, take your time. Push yourself back up to a seat. And you can remove the blanket as you're ready. Take your time. Just set that off to the side. And then let's come into tabletop pose. So the wrists are underneath the shoulders and the knees are underneath the hips. And then we'll take a couple cat-cows. So make them nice and gentle. So you inhale, lift the chest, chin, and tailbone. And as you exhale, push through the hands, round the back, tuck the tail. Keep going, follow your own breath. So the inhale is when we come up. Tailbone, chest, and chin. And the exhale is when we come back down. And see if you can link the breath to the movement. So let the movement tell the body when to move, rather than trying to match the breath to how the body wants to move. In yoga, we like to bring the breath in a lot. It helps us connect to the nervous system and even regulate it sometimes. Take a few more rounds here. Next time you come to neutral spine, flat back, pause. And next exhale, bring the left shoulder towards the left hip, opening through the right side. And you'll inhale to come back to center, and exhale the right shoulder towards the right hip. And you can keep going side to side. The inhale brings you through center, and the exhale brings you over to the other side. Nice and slow. You can bring the neck into it or not. And if you'd like to freestyle it, I'll go for it. Maybe you do some barrel rolls. All right. Come back to neutral spine. On an inhale, let's lift the right arm up overhead, expanding through the chest. And exhale, bring the right hand through between the left
wrist and left knee. You can bring the shoulder down and the side of the head down. You might keep the left hand where it is, or you might extend it out over your head. Make sure wherever you are, you're not pinching anything, not creating more tension. I'm going to use this as a way to surrender and find more ease. So if that's not the case, then you can come out of it a little bit, back off. You have the left hand extended. Go ahead, bring it back beneath the shoulder. And on an inhale, push through the left hand, bring the right arm up overhead and back down. And an inhale, we'll lift the left arm and exhale to thread it between the right wrist and knee. Same story, different side. You can bring the head down to rest, and you can keep the right hand where it is or extend it overhead. You might use the inhales to create some more length in the spine and the tailbone up through the rib cage. And perhaps invite some softening with the exhales. Somewhere else you can surrender. Once you're ready, bring the right hand beneath the shoulder and use an inhale to unwind, lifting left arm overhead. Let's exhale, bring the left hand down and sink the hips back towards the heels. Extend the hands out in front. Come into child's pose. You can always put a blanket underneath the hips in child's pose if that makes it more comfortable. And if child's pose just isn't accessible, then you can lay on your back or on your side. But if you are in child's pose, wherever you are, let's see if we can drop in a little bit more. Noticing the points of contact. And perhaps noticing areas of holding. And I know it can be hard to let go of the holding sometimes, so maybe just, noticing it, shining the light of awareness on it. That's all we need to do. Just be present with it. Alright, inhale, lift the head. Walk the hands over to the right. You can bring the head back down. You can even push through the left hand. Sink the left hip back towards the heel as best you can. And use the breath to encourage opening on the left side. Next, inhale, lift the head, walk the hands, this time through center over to the left side. And come back down to rest the head. You can push through the right hand. Again, encouraging opening up through the right ribs. And then inhale, come back to center. Let's come through kneeling and lower down onto your belly. Bring the fronts of the feet to the mat and bring the hands underneath the shoulders. press the feet firmly into the mat. So the tops of the feet are really pushing down hard. The kneecaps might even lift up off the ground. Think about bringing the butt cheeks down towards the heels. Yeah, so the bum is sliding down, tailbone's coming down towards the heels. And then on an inhale, just lift the head and chest like you're trying to pull the skull away from the tailbone. So it's more about lengthening than it is about a big curve, at least for where we are. And then exhale, you come down. You can rest the cheek. Notice the breath. On an inhale, we're going to do the same thing. You can almost claw the chest up, pulling the mat towards you. Breathing into the heart space. And exhale, come down. And one more time. As you inhale, pull the mat, lift the head, lift the chest, push through the feet. And let's stay here for 2 breaths. Breathing in around the heart like a balloon's inflating. And exhale, come down. Make a pillow for your hands. Rest your forehead there. You can rock your hips from side to side. Just take a little rest here. Let the pelvis sink into the ground. Invite softness around the shoulders. All right. Let's bring the hands behind us. So down towards the feet, palms face down. Let the pelvis be nice and heavy. And on an inhale, we're going to lift everything up. So peel the chin and chest up. You can lift the feet as an option, and you can lift the hands as an option. We're going to be here for 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead, come down. You can rock the hips from side to side. We're going to do that 2 more times, and you can take whatever option feels best for you. So maybe it's just lifting the chin and chest. Maybe you lift the feet, and perhaps you lift the hands. And so in fact, let's all go through all those stops. Or let's go through those stops together. So as we inhale, let's curl the chin and chest up. So feet and hands are down. I'm taking a breath here. And if this is your bus stop, then let's get off. If you're going to the next one, you can lift the feet, just an option. And if you're like, hell no, then put the feet back down. No biggie. We're at home. Nobody cares. If you'd like, you can lift the hands. Again, no biggie. We'll be here for 3. Can come down sooner. 2. And 1. Let's all come down. You can bend at the knees and rock the feet from side to side gently. Okay, so let's try something else. And we're just going to try here. And if it doesn't work, then we're not going to be upset about it. We're just going to let it go. So let's bend the knees. Feet are like they're planted on the ceiling. And then the chest is down, but let's bring the hands back towards the feet. And you might bring the heels in towards the chest. Just see, we're not going to grab hold, but just see if we can touch. Maybe we can, maybe we can't. Every day's different. As we inhale, we're going to lift the feet and the hands. And think about bringing the hands to meet the ankles. They don't have to meet, but we're just thinking about it. If they do meet and you do this often, then you can grab on and kick through the feet and lift through the chest. If you are doing that, then let's let go and see where we land. Try to keep where you were. Okay, let's all release. Rock the hips from side to side. Awesome. All right, let's come into Sphinx pose now. So we're gonna have the tops of the feet pressing into the mat. And bring the elbows about beneath the shoulders. I don't usually go that far because I don't have as much mobility in my upper back. So we're gonna try to bring the floor towards us. So it's like we're gripping the floor and we could bring it towards us. And we do that to help bring the curve in the spine. We don't really want it right here. We want it more up in the rib cage. So as best we can, we do that. And then we breathe. Check in with the neck and see if it's cranked up, like we're trying to look at the ceiling. We don't really care about that. Bring the gaze down the nose and see if you can have the neck in line with the rest of the spine. Come down sooner if you feel any pinching or you just want to come down sooner. Wherever you are, watch the breath. You can come out at any time. We'll be here for 3, 2, and 1. Let's come down, make a little pillow for the forehead. You can rack the feet from side to side. Okay, and we're gonna do one more back bend. So let's just barrel roll onto our backs. And have the feet planted, knees are bent. Hands are down by your side. And then let's shimmy the shoulders together. Feet are about hip distance apart. And then as you inhale, let's curl the tailbone up. Lift the hips, lift the chest. Bring the chest towards the chin, but the chin is tracking towards the ceiling. We want to keep the curve in the cervical spine, the spine and the neck. And then breathe here. We're thinking about expanding through the chest, right around the heart, coming back to that balloon at the heart. And we'll be here for 3, 2, you can come out anytime. 1, let's go ahead, lift the arms up over your head, let the shoulders come together, lift the heels, and then slowly bring the spine down one at a time. Let's bring the soles of the feet together, knees go wide. You can bring one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly. Supta Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose. And come back to the sensation of the breath. The sensation of contact. You might even close your eyes here for a minute or 2. Rise and fall. Where can we surrender? Where can we melt? And then as you're ready, let's draw the knees together. Bring the knees in towards the chest. You can give yourself a hug, wrap your arms around your knees or behind your thighs. You might rock from side to side. Just massaging the low back. Maybe even going almost to the side. You know, almost rolling over onto your side as you do this. Can you stay with the sensations that arise? Almost like that light on a copier going across the back, perfectly present with that section of back. It might mean you need to go a little bit slower. How slow can you go? And how does the breath change with our pace of movement? Next time you come to center, pause. And let's lock ankles. So one ankle is over the other and rotate the knees in the same direction. So we're rotating the knees in the same direction, creating some circles along the sacrum, that big bony plate at the back of the pelvis. And again, moving nice and slow here. What does it feel like to roll the sacrum like this? And can we send the breath into the sacrum? And let's reverse direction as it's convenient. So we're rotating the opposite way from where we started. Nice and slow. Watching the breath. And if there's a spot you want to give some more attention to, go for it. Again, we are at home. Alright, let's uncross the ankles. Keep the hands on the knees, and this time rotate the knees in opposite directions. So the knees go apart and then they come together. And still keeping with the slow movement. No racing. Comfortable, you might take a couple nice deep slow breaths, encouraging the exhale to be as long, if not longer, than the inhale. And let's reverse direction. So we're rotating in the other way now. Let's release that effort, bring the knees back together. You can bring the hands behind the thighs and let's bend and straighten the knees. Just a couple times. And then let's draw some circles with the ankles. Nice deep breathing, like the inhale comes in, goes all the way down the spine, and then travels back up on the exhale. Let's reverse. So rotating in the opposite direction. Nice and gentle. Okay. And bring the feet down, knees are bent, and then as you exhale, draw the knees over to the right. Gaze can go left. And we inhale, knees to center. Exhale, knees go left, gaze goes right. Keep following your own pace. So the inhale brings the knees back to center, and the exhale takes them over to the other side. I'm just gonna check in our technology here, but you keep going with that. Okay. So nice and gentle, and check in with the feet here. Sometimes they'll slosh around the mat. If it's comfortable for your low back, see if you can keep them relatively still and just rock and roll from edge to edge. Of course, if that's not comfortable, then you can slosh them around. That's no problem. Let's do 2 more on each side. Keeping the attention in the feet. And then we'll meet in center. And let's roll over onto our side. Any side is fine. Take a moment to rest there. And then as you're ready, nice and slow, go ahead. Push yourself up to seated. And now let's grab the blankets again. And if you're near a wall, we're gonna do legs up the wall. So if you have a wall or a bed or a couch nearby, then let's bring the blanket there. And we're just gonna fold the blanket a bit. I have mine folded like this. But just giving ourselves a little bit of height. And if you're not near a wall, that's okay. You can put your legs on a chair. You can put them just straight up in the air. Whatever is nice for you. So we'll bring our hips to the blanket. And then we hoist the legs up. Very yogic term, hoisting. You might scooch a little bit. Also very yogic. And then bring the torso down. So if you're at a wall, your feet might be up straight. If you're at a couch, then you might flop over, and that's okay. I'm gonna come out of this, but you all stay there. So again, letting the pelvis be nice and heavy. Let that bone sink into the blanket or the mat, wherever you are. Then encouraging the muscles to become more soft.
use the breath to do that. So sometimes we think about spaciousness with the inhales and a release or some ease with the exhales. We're going to be here for a few minutes, but if it ever gets uncomfortable, then you can bring your legs down and scoot yourself away from the wall and roll over onto your side. But again, we'll be here as a group for a few more minutes. I'll let you know when we come out, but you always have the option to come out of it if it becomes uncomfortable or you just want to be on your side. Maybe you tune into the sounds around you. Watching those. Let the sound be an anchor for the mind. And see if perhaps you can watch the sounds around you for the next few moments without assigning judgment. So being just nice and curious. And if you feel the judgment coming in, can you reframe that as curiosity? An eagerness to know. Just a few moments with the sounds. And if the mind wanders, that's okay. As soon as you notice that it's wandered, just come back. Then we're going to move into our Shavasana, our final rest pose. So you can stay in legs up the wall if that's how you want to do your final rest. That's totally fine with me. Otherwise, let's scoot away from the wall and bring the knees down. And let's roll over onto our sides. Take a moment here. And then as you're ready, push yourself up so you can set up for your Shavasana. You might use your blanket or your pillow. I like to roll up a blanket. If I've got a pillow nearby, then I'll put it underneath my hamstrings, underneath the knees even. And come into Shavasana. Make sure you're warm. You don't want to be cold right now. And lay down. Come out of it so I can make sure I can bring you all out of it. You stay in Shavasana for a few more moments. I'll call you out when we're done. If we're at home, I know it's tempting to skip the Shavasana, but I think we need it now more than ever, so don't skip this part. Let the bones be heavy. You can visualize the bones growing, the roots rooting down into the ground beneath you. Letting yourself be fully supported. And then coming back to that sense of golden, light, warm glow shining down on the muscles and the skin. Inviting a sense of ease, a sense of softness. Almost like the lines of the body, lines of the physical body could melt away and just become a puddle. Slowly come back to the breath. Go ahead and re-embody the physical body in any way that feels nice. You might wiggle fingers and toes, roll some joints, maybe even a big stretch. Then let's roll over onto the side and pause there. One more moment of rest. Then as you're ready, slowly push yourself up to a comfortable seat. Nice and slow. Let's bring our hands out to the side, palms face down. Inhale, bring the arms up and overhead. Exhale, hands to palms to heart center. And you can close your eyes. Let's just come back to that thought we had at the beginning of practice of sending the merits of this to some folks who could use it. And part of that is probably ourselves too. So part of the merits get to go to us. And we get to share part of the merits too. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I hope you are well, and I hope you're taking care of yourselves. May all beings everywhere be joyful and free, and may the merits from our practice benefit all beings. Thank you.